Good morning, everyone. I'd like to declare open the Environment and Sustainability Committee meeting number 6 of 2021. First off, I'll call for attendance. In attendance we have myself, Councillor Madsen, Mayor Teresa Harding, Councillor Fechner and Councillor Kunzelman. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and community. I pay my respect to their continuing culture and contribution they make to the life of this city and this region. I honour the elders past, present and emerging, and I extend my welcome to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present today, for they hold the memories, traditions, the culture and hopes of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across the nation. Council have engaged Wirrinya Conservation Services to provide re-vegetation and weed eradication at the Evelyn and Dodd Park. This work provides a local First Nations business opportunity to apply cultural knowledge to care for country, increase their business knowledge and upskill their staff. Our elders and leaders have the opportunity to provide peer-to-peer mentoring, practice culture through land management and strengthen further community involvement. This enhances the value Council places on Aboriginal cultural heritage restoration and maintenance and acknowledges the importance of caring for our natural areas, waterways and open spaces. This investment in Indigenous engagement improves the environmental and cultural heritage outcomes for Ipswich and fosters culture, family and language. Do we have any? There's no business outstanding, I believe. And declaration of interest at all? No? I'll call for confirmation of minutes.
I'll move to confirm those, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Fechner. Do I have a seconder? Mayor Harding. Confirmation of minutes of the Environment and Sustainability Committee meeting number 5 of 2021 on the 10th of June. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Unanimous, noting that Councillor Kunzelman wasn't in attendance as she had leave of absence. Yeah. Item 2, an officer's report, is the adoption of Ipswich City Council Environmental Offsets Policy. Does any member of committee wish for a council officer to
Chair, I'd like to add, I guess, a recommendation B to there, or an amendment. In particular, the policy figure 1 is quite tiny, and I've, I guess, twice I've mentioned this to council, that the font is too small. I think the council officer will give me the Visio diagram so I could actually see it, but in a policy that people can read, that figure 1 that needs to be bigger. The font there is vitally important. It's part of the governance framework, which is an important part of this policy. So if we it's just a format issue, but if we can make sure that figure 1 is much bigger so people can read the actual writing. I actually can't read it there or even on the screen. So I guess I'm asking for an amendment to include recommendation B, that figure 1 in the policy be made in a larger font. I guess I go to you, Chair, because it hasn't been...
Do you wish to move that, Mayor, as... Yeah?
I'd like to move that, if I may.
Would you like to move A as well?
Oh, well, if that's okay with you, Chair, I'll move A and B together,
B.
if that's okay, Chair.
Certainly. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you.
Councillor Fechner. Does any member of committee wish for council officer to come forward?
Oh,
No?
yes.
Yes?
Sorry. Yes, please, sorry.
Good morning, Tim Shields, Team Leader, Strategic Catchment and Conservation Planning.
Thank you, Mr Shields. I understand this is the very first time that Ipswich City Council is putting forward an environmental offsets policy, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
So, where is the situation for the other South East Queensland councils? Do they have policies like this or not?
We're pretty much somewhere in the middle. Most of the bigger city councils all have offset policies, certainly within the planning scheme, some outside of the planning scheme. Gold Coast is probably the most similar to where we're at, and largely the kind of path we're following, where they have both a planning scheme policy and an external one as well. And that's largely because of the amount of federal offsets that city deals with as well as Ipswich.
Yep. Now, I note there was no external consultation. It's in the report. It says no external community consultation was required as part of this policy, given its highly operational nature, in addition to its largely being an exercise aligned with the relevant state and Commonwealth legislation. Will this be part of consultation in the new planning scheme, or how will that consultation occur?
There'll be other certain touch points where there will be consultation opportunities, particularly as we go forward with a natural environment policy and then a review of our nature conservation strategy, certainly in terms of where offsets are implemented in terms of the geographical locations. There'll be an opportunity for consultation in that space. But because this policy is largely just about governance around the use of offsets and council land and offsets funds, it wasn't identified that there was a real need or benefit from broader consultation. But yeah, certainly there'll be other opportunities from a strategic perspective.
Okay. And just say this is passed today and goes to the ordinary council meeting in 2 weeks' time and is carried. Are there any cost impacts to landowners of this policy?
I don't foresee any cost impacts, and particularly because offsets are already largely a thing, particularly from the federal level in Ipswich. It's pretty much impossible to say if the costs are inbuilt into house prices or anything, but if they were to be, they'd already be there. But I can't really comment on that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And do you mind just highlighting the main benefits of having this policy?
The main benefits for me are just having something to lean back on, particularly when developers or proponents come to us and say, do you have council land where we could put an offset? Just having a framework for us to rigorously assess that, and if we have to say no, something to lean back on, and just making sure we're doing our due diligence in that space, because it's been challenging in the past. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
I'll open the item for discussion. There being no discussion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? That's unanimous and carried. Item 3 is review of Local Disaster Management Plan 2021. The recommendations are A, that the Local Disaster Management Plan for the City of Ipswich as detailed in Attachment 2 be approved, and B, that the Chief Executive Officer, in consultation with the Mayor, be authorised to make amendments deemed necessary based on further comment received from members of the Local Disaster Management Group who form part of the governance arrangements for the adoption of this plan. Does any member of committee wish to ask any questions of appropriate council officer? No? Then do I have a mover? Councillor Kunzman, and seconder, Mayor Harding. Any discussion? Councillor Kunzman.
Just to note that I've reviewed this plan as the Deputy Chair.
Oh, sorry, Councillor. Your microphone.
Just to note that I've reviewed this plan as the Deputy Chair of the Local Disaster Management Group and the Chair of the Local Recovery Group. This is a yearly review, and I see no problems with it. It's consistent with our actual actions and consistent with previous policy.
Thank you, Councillor. Mayor?
If I may, Chair, as the Chair of the Local Disaster Management Group and in consultation with the Deputy Chair, we came in, we voted in as council with at a level of this, having a disaster in our community with COVID, and obviously we then had the hailstorm, so this has been front and centre of our mind. We have been in a state of disaster since we came to office. So it's really important we do have these updates to reflect contemporary legislation, but also the learnings on the ground as well. So I fully endorse this plan as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? In that case, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? It's unanimous and carried. And there being no further business, I'll call the meeting closed at 11:22. Next committee, Ipswich City Redevelopment Committee, will commence in 10 minutes at 11:32. Thank you.